So many controversies on this Monday, June 7th, from the WikiLeaks whistleblower to Helen Thomas's resignation. Cenk Uygur is here today, of the Young Turks, radio host and a frequent contributor here on RT, here to talk about all these controversies. So, 22-year-old Bradley Manning allegedly leaked this video, that controversial video of the Apache helicopter, to WikiLeaks, and now he's arrested. I mean, what do you make of all of this?
Right. Well, that's a complicated issue. First of all, this is the first time I'm on set here.
We're so excited to have you.
And it looks gorgeous, gorgeous set here. Okay, so now on to the WikiLeaks. Look, I love that he leaked the Apache helicopter video because it gives us a fuller sense of what happened in Iraq, closer to the reality, and I like that WikiLeaks put it up there, and they serve a really important purpose when the mainstream media is scared to put stuff like that up there. On the other hand, I see the Army's perspective, of course, you know, or the armed forces, saying, well, we can't have people leaking all this stuff. And so once they found out who he was, they had to arrest him. So it'll be interesting to see how the trial plays out if it goes that far. But I'm glad the material was out there, but I get the reaction of the armed forces.
And it's interesting, you know, you mentioned the mainstream media and said if they had this, they wouldn't air it, you know, they wouldn't publicize it. So it seems that now a lot of the public is sort of relying on websites like WikiLeaks to get the true information, what's really going on these places, in these places so far away, like Iraq and Afghanistan. So what could this mean for WikiLeaks?
Well, you know, it's interesting because they're going after WikiLeaks in 100 different ways, and you can tell the government's scared. And if they're scared, then you're doing real journalism, right? And they took the passport away from the guy in Australia who's running WikiLeaks. They said it was old passport. I mean, it's just a nonsense excuse, right? But here, I don't think people should get scared about working with WikiLeaks. This was a different computer hacker who turned this guy in, the guy who was turned in today. So it's not like WikiLeaks is giving away their sources. They're not. And so, again, I think they're doing a great job there, and I think people probably still feel fairly confident giving information to them. You just got to be careful about how many different people you give it to because you don't know who's going to turn you in.
Right, and so if the government comes after them, it seems like you said, you know, it's kind of an excuse, right? Because technically what they're doing, what WikiLeaks is doing, what Julian Assange is doing, is that legal or not? Mm-hmm.
Well, look, he's a reporter, and he's getting information, and he's printing it. That's perfectly legal. Now, if somebody's giving over confidential information to him, that part obviously has, you know, legality that needs to be sorted out.
Right. And staying on the topic of free speech here, Helen Thomas, recent controversy. I want to play our audience aside why she is all over the media right now.
Any comments on Israel? We're asking everybody today. Any comments
Tell them
on
to
Israel?
get the hell out of Palestine.
Ooh. Any better comments?
Remember, these people are occupied, and it's their land. It's not German, it's not Poland.
So where should they go? What should they do?
They go home.
Where's the home?
Poland.
So the Jews,
Germany.
You think Jews go back to Poland and Germany?
And America and everywhere else.
All right, so you heard it there. She later did apologize on her website, just recently resigned. What do you make of all this?
Yeah, no, she screwed up. She shouldn't have said it, and because it's not right. You know, the first part she could have defended, saying, hey, it's occupied. I say get the hell out of Palestine, meaning the Palestinian territories. That's a defensible point. The second part is not defensible, and I'm surprised she thinks that. I'm really blown away by that. I mean, go back to Germany and Poland, that's crazy talk, right? So, you know, the problem is she's a reporter. How much of her own personal opinion does she get to have? You know, that's...
But here's the thing about that. It's like, you know, everybody expects reporters to be completely objective. She has been a long time critic of Israel. I mean, she's been embroiled in controversy with if you remember, I think back in 2003, you know, questioning George W. Bush more than perhaps other reporters had. I mean, she had a column. You know, she was paid for her opinion. Right. So she has these opinions. So where did it sort of go wrong here? You think that second part of the statement sort of did her in?
Oh, absolutely. Now, look, here's the thing. I think she served a great purpose. It's great to get another point of view in the White House asking questions because we almost never get that. And her previous questions, I had no problems with. In fact, I thought a lot of them were really well placed, whether it was the Bush administration or the Obama administration. But, you know, look, if you have an opinion that's so controversial, you got to realize just realistically, common sense is going to tell you that if you put that out there, you're going to catch a lot of heat for it. And at some point, your employer is going to get scared. Right. And that's probably what happened here. And again, given what she said, understandably so.
And that's sort of in that broader debate of political correctness here in the United States. You know, other countries sort of tend to make fun of the U.S. for saying you guys try too hard to be politically correct. And so people who are coming to her defense are saying, you know, this is her opinion and she's entitled to it, and they don't think that she should have been fired, or they don't think that she should have resigned because this is her opinion, and they say that these opinions are held by a lot of people regarding the Middle East. So talk about this sort of issue of political correctness here in the United States. I mean, if you work, I feel like, for any organization here, you cannot expect to say these things and not be all over the TV screens, especially if you're Helen Thomas, who's had such a long and admirable career, too. You know, this is definitely going to stain it a lot.
It is, and it's unfortunate in that sense. But look, we have to keep it in context of what was actually said, right? You know, a lot of people will misinterpret this and say you can't say anything against Israel in the American press. Now, I think the mainstream press is very, very...
But that's wrong, right? Because a lot of reporters say, you know, negative or you know, very harsh things against Israel.
Well, you know, here's the thing. Overall, mainstream press in America is very pro-Israel. They will take the
Even the left, you think?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. I mean, if you listen to MSNBC, you know, I love them. I'm going to be on the show later today, but they've taken a very pro-Israel stance on. And then what I mean by that is they just take the Israeli government's position at face value a lot of times, right? But there are definitely people who speak out against Israeli government action or Israeli Defense Force action. Glenn Greenwald, you know, M.J. Rosenberg, me, okay, and the list goes on and on.
The most important person.
But Helen Thomas wasn't speaking out about Israeli government positions. To say that they should go back to Germany and Poland, that's crazy talk. It makes sense that got her in trouble.
Right, and of course Israel is such a sensitive topic, especially here in the United States. Cenk, we are so happy to have you here in our studios. We do hope that you come back and join us and talk about all kinds of controversies here on RT. Thank you.
Thank you so much.